so good. Where do these things come from anyway? Oh, I bet it's a magical place. Hiya friends! Have you ever wondered what sunshine tastes like? Well, thanks to the genial and otherwise well-intentioned folks in the public relations industry, the answer has already been placed in our minds for us. Pineapples, bananas, mangoes, all these fruits are so yellow and fun.
Just like the sun.
Today we're going to be making a deliciously refreshing pineapple drink naturally carbonated through the process of fermentation. We're going to learn all about fermentation and how you can harness this living system to unwittingly do your work for you. So this drink is actually a variation on a Mexican pineapple beer called tepeche, which is traditionally made from the pineapple rinds, which is apparently where most of the yeasts live. It's made from an unrefined cane sugar called piloncillo, flavored with cinnamon, and then you just add water for everything to kind of mix up in and provide a medium for the fermentation process. So we actually tried making this stuff the traditional way, but in all honesty, the rinds just didn't provide enough pineapple flavor. So we experimented a little and used the flesh instead, and it worked. I don't know how exactly it worked, because everything I read online seemed to suggest that most of the yeasts live on the rind, but I guess there's enough yeasts in the flesh too. I don't know. Not a scientist. In fact, I resent book learning. I don't know what's happening in the process, and furthermore, I don't care to. So this recipe requires a minimal amount of preparation. You start by chunking up the sweetest pineapple that you can find, which you can do, by the way, by smelling its butt. It should have a fruity, floral fragrance, like any good butt. So if you're going to use the flesh instead of the rinds, what you're going to want to make sure to do is really just kind of squeeze and break up the flesh so that it releases a lot of the juice, right? Because if you just have like floating pineapple chunks, there's wasted pineapple flavor sitting in those chunks. You want it not in the chunks, you want it in the water that you're going to drink. So you got to get in there with your hands and squeeze them up and stuff. Now, the one drawback of this method is the fact that pineapple flesh contains a chemical called bromelain, which dissolves protein, which is the substance that our meat bodies are made of. So if you'll notice that if you squeeze pineapple, your hands will actually start to burn, and it's because you've removed a layer of skin. So if you're one of these people that is
worried about their skin dissolving,
I have a better method. You can punch the pineapple, right? Because that actually, if you use your fists instead of your palms, it reduces the amount of surface area that's actually in contact with this like gelatinizing enzyme that's in the pineapple. Now, in order to get into the proper state of mind for pineapple punching, it helps to think of
vengeance. Imagine, if you will, an individual whose genius was such that the bewildering complexity of the human mind was to them no more difficult to follow than 2 points connected by a straight line, and that this potentially liberating insight into the mechanisms which govern human behavior was then deliberately fastened around the throat of the commoner so that they may be fixed in their proper place.
Anyway, so although pineapples are already pretty sweet, especially if you get a good ripe one, you want to add extra sugar. So the sugar that you add into this mixture will provide the yeasts with extra fuel for them to consume, and then as a byproduct, you get carbon dioxide, which we as the drinker experience as effervescent carbonation. This additional step will create optimal conditions for your yeast culture to flourish,
and consequently lead them by the nose into the jaws of inevitability.
Add 200 grams of sugar to your pulverized pineapple pulp. Then extract about 1.5 cups of juice from a mixture of lemons and limes. In a dry skillet on a low heat, roast some cinnamon, cloves, and star anise just until they become fragrant, then add them to the mixture. Then just top up with water and give it a stir. Then just put it somewhere where it's not directly exposed to the sun and forget about it for a couple days. So after 2 days, you want to strain the pulp and transfer the liquid to some fermentation grade bottles. Now I cannot stress this enough, fermentation grade glass, not just decorative sealable bottles, because they will turn into a grenade. Okay, it's been about 4 days total. 2 days for the first ferment and 2 days for the second ferment. All right, now let's try it. But before we try it, I just want to take a moment and congratulate you all on being such great team members. You've had some sleepless nights working on this project, and I just want to let you know that I'm so proud of all of you and all your extraordinary accomplishments. Mwah. All right, team, are you ready to try the fruits of our labor? It's good. It's very refreshing. It's carbonated, it's fizzy. It's like a pop or a beer, if you will. It'd be great on a summer day. That brightness of the lemon juice that we added really does make a difference. And the spices come through a
Little bit.
but it's not too sweet. That's the most important thing. All of that sugar has been turned into this lovely carbon dioxide thanks to our wonderful team. Well, that's it for this video and for the once thriving yeast culture. And always remember, do what you love because nobody cares and it doesn't matter.